Are you one of those people that's constantly counting calories? That's hard to say. This week, we're going over calorie counting and why for 90% of you, it really doesn't make that much sense. You might be wasting a whole lot of time and energy that could be spent elsewhere. So, we'll teach you how to do it the right way. Now, reason number one why counting calories doesn't work so well is because first, you got to know what your resting metabolism is. How are you going to know how many calories you need to take in if you don't know how many calories you are expending every day? The problem is, calculating your resting metabolism is really difficult, even with some fancy machinery like this, especially when it's not plugged in or turned on. So, what we're going to advocate you do instead is start paying attention to when your body is hungry, because that's how you know you need calories or not. So, take 20 minutes to eat with each meal. If you're already eating way too fast, start working up a minute at a time until you get to 20 minutes and wait until you're 80% full. That'll tell you how many calories you need at each meal. So if you watched our last video, we talked about taking 20 minutes to eat our food and waiting until we're 80% full. Part of the reason why we do this is because it helps build self-awareness. We listen to when our body is hungry and then we eat. We take our time and then we listen. See if our body is still hungry and we continue to eat. The reason why we take 20 minutes is it takes that much time for your brain and stomach to communicate back and forth. We eat to about 80% full because typically, as Americans, we tend to overeat at each meal. So, start becoming more aware of what 80% feels like and just taking a little bit more time with your meals. Now, because counting calories isn't the best idea, we're going to give you a better way to measure your food. Instead of using measuring tools, which is time-consuming, stressful, and quite honestly can be off by as much as 20%, we're going to show you how to measure your food using your own hand. So, we're going to use the palm of our hand for our portion sizes for our protein. We're going to use the cup of our hand for our carbohydrate portions. Our fist for measuring our fruits and vegetables. And then we're going to use our thumbs for measuring how much fat we need. It's much better, right? Nice. So the one thing we want to advocate to you when it comes to calorie counting is pay attention to your body. If you're hungry, you should eat. If you're not hungry, you shouldn't eat. Your needs for your calories is going to change on a day-to-day basis, so it doesn't really make sense to plan for a specific amount of calories for most people. Just pay attention to whether you're hungry or not. So, what are some cues to know if you're hungry, satiated, or maybe too full? Well, if you're hungry, growling stomach, headache, and irritability, feeling hangry are some cues to pay attention to. If you're over full, you're going to feel sick, bloated, tired, and lethargic, constantly feeling like you need to take a nap. If you're satiated, you should feel energetic, pretty pleasant to be around, and should feel mobile, like you can get up and do anything you want at any time.
Let's do this.
All right.